Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our virtual version of Reimagining Public Health in New York City, our collective visioning, creative workshop. If you weren't able to make it in person at the Brooklyn Borough Hall back on May 31st, this is an opportunity for you to engage in this workshop in a way that hopefully centers your creativity, your insights, and your experience with COVID recovery. As we continue to explore what recovery means from COVID, we have to continue to center our vision of both reimagining public health and realizing a healthier, more equitable world. So this workshop is really an opportunity to challenge yourself to think and move in new ways and to think about new possibilities and new paths forward. And I know that that is a practice that is not always easy or natural, but I hope that this virtual version of our collective visioning workshop will be an opportunity for you to pause in your day and create some space to do that. Changing how our health systems function and how our public health systems function is a multi-year, multi-community, multidisciplinary process. It's going to be a long journey, and we have to, at the same time, find ways to make sure that we can engage in this process, centering joy and centering a collective vision for the path forward. So at the end of this hour, please do take some time also to complete the survey, the Collective Visioning Planning Survey, so that you can continue to find ways to engage in this process of COVID recovery, reimagining public health for New York City, and planning a vision for a better future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Morse. Welcome to the Reimagining Public Health in New York City Collective Visioning Virtual Workshop. I am Takesha White, founder and director of Rethink Everything, a public health promotion and experiential communication agency. Today, you are in for a treat. You will get to see the deeply restorative magic that was created live on May 31st at the Brooklyn Borough Hall in the community room and outside in the plaza. We were joined by Adam Rudolph's Go Organic Orchestra, led by Alexis Marcello, Brooklyn Raga Massive, Sonic Mandala, collage artist and public health expert Krista David, and Monica Ortiz-Rossi, movement director from Calm Living. Welcome to today's Reimagining Public Health in New York City's Collective Visioning Workshop.
I reimagine public health in New York City as being choice. Choose your doctor, choose your health care, choose to be healthy.
We had beautiful interpretive dance, and they presented what their hearts were expressing around seeding the earth in the imagination. They built this on top of the music that was presented by the Go Organic Orchestra, over 30 musicians, music from all across the world, and the Brooklyn Raga Massive.
The Collective Visioning Workshop was designed to integrate a stimulating, immersive experience to the Reimagining Public Health series in New York City. We worked to create a sensory environment that would support public health practitioners and other city employees in coming together to break free from their comfort zones and automatic modes of operation to activate new cognitive and emotional centers within themselves. This new experience would have the potential to create a lasting association between creativity, the arts, music, and program planning. The live experience was designed to disrupt old ways of working on an everyday basis and firmly introduce a practice of relaxation, mindfulness, affirmation, and freedom within a creative setting. Creating space to unlock a new level of imagination required that we involve elements of earth, rhythm, melody, arts, crafts, collage, movement, light, color, live music, choreography, and amplified sound. We invite you today to lean into your imagination, journey with us through the deep meditative music of Sonic Mandala, and tap into your creative centers. Think about how art, collage, and hands-on visioning can support you in reimagining how you practice public health. Think about how mindfulness and deep meditation can help clear the clutter of hustle and bustle of life and deadlines and generate within you a connection to creative thinking, forwarding planning, and reimagined programming. We have created a form to support you in unlocking your imagination while you watch the replay of the live event. To access the form, click on the QR code at the bottom of the screen. You will find a form with 7 simple questions. 1. Name 5 things that describe your vision for NYC. How would work be different? How would play be different? How would home be different? What is your why? What do we risk if we do not change? And fill in the prompt, I will know I made a difference when I can. Again, thank you for taking the time to be with us today. I hope you enjoyed this virtual workshop. Complete the prompts and reimagine public health in New York City. Grab a pen and paper and get ready to type in the chat, because as you watch the clips, you will be prompted to record your experience and document the feelings, thoughts, and emotions that are coming up inside of you today. Take a deep breath and just enjoy being your wonderful self. We are so happy that you are with us today, and we hope that you look at this collective visioning experience as the beginning of you integrating more art, more movement, and more passion into your everyday life. I'm so excited to introduce you all to the Sonic Mandala group that is sitting here before you today. They're going to be playing some amazing music to allow us to break free and break out of automatic and to go into a space of deep, reflective visioning. Allow our minds and our imaginations to just drift and to see what in our minds the New York City that we dream of could look like, in terms of our health, in terms of our wellness, and in terms of our beingness. So not doingness, not activeness, right? But just being able to exist here today. For the next 15 minutes, allow yourself to go into deep, meditative reflection, listening to the sounds of Sonic Mandala as they support you in activating your imagination and reimagining public health in New York City. Wasn't that wonderful? I had such a beautiful time watching all of that. And when you go into a trance like that, just sitting back, letting yourself breathe, feeling your body lift up and relax, letting yourself inhale and exhale, it is an opportunity for you to be connected to who you are, where there's no judgment, there's no deadlines, there's no pressure. Creativity gets to come out from you in a natural, beautiful, and organic way. Now let's welcome Movement Director Monica Ortiz-Rossi from Calm Living as she talks to us about the power of movement.
She's going to introduce the dancers, and as you come into this next experience, you'll get a sense of what we get to be together today in this space. And I'm just gonna do a little bit of a woo-woo alert, right? A little bit of a woo-woo. This is not everyday practice of public health. This is be different, be free, be yourself, break out of the automatic, and participate at the most quintessential level of yourself, right? So again, I'm just gonna give a moment to make sure that we introduce Monica Ortiz-Rossi, the Movement Director for today's Collective Visioning Workshop.
Thank you, Keisha. Thank you so much. I'm really excited we're all here together. We're going to be breathing and moving together. As a former NYC DOHMH employee, I'm really excited to be on this side to be able to contribute the other version of myself. We wear many hats, and I'd also like to introduce some of our movers today, but today we are all movers. So we walk places, right? We sit places. And so how are we doing that? We might as well do it consciously. And Jasmine, feel free to introduce yourself.
I'm Jasmine DeGaulle. I'm a dancer, a mother, and an artist.
Hi everyone, my name is Kiyomi Tarver. I'm a performer and artistic healer.
Hi everyone, so happy to be here. My name is Marguerite Hamden. I'm an artist, I'm a mother, dancer, and a healer. Thank you.
Great, so right now what we're gonna try and do is we wanna hear from you, and if you could write in the chat, basically tell us about a time when you did not feel physically whole. In one short sentence, write down what happened to you when you broke, when you tore, when you pulled, when you twisted, when you destabilized a specific part of your body. Maybe you tensed it, maybe you tightened it. So in one short sentence, you can add that into the chat, and it's basically like a tiny story. About a time when you didn't feel physically whole. Great, thank you so much for adding those. And now, one other prompt. If you could add in the chat, how do you want to find yourself at the end of this session? So how at the end of this session? And so this is going to be a short phrase that describes how you would like to feel at the end of this. Add that into the chat. So how would you like to feel by the end of this session?
To feel refreshed. I want to feel uplifted and free. Limber, loose, supple, happy, inspired, and free. Peaceful. Peaceful, inspired, stress-free, my mind relaxed, limber, loose, supple, happy, inspired, and free.
Great, so this is what we did at the live event. Some folks you can see here, they found a little bit of release by tapping and inhaling. And we're gonna do the same. And I encourage you to find a little bit of space wherever it is that you are. And we're gonna start here with our necks. We're gonna tap and release and breathe into the spaces. So let's go ahead and tap, 2 hands. Inhaling and exhaling, release to the opposite side. And when you come back, find a way to stretch lightly. Breathing in and out. Letting go of the hands and tapping on the opposite side. Release. As you come back, gently hold a light stretch, breathing in and out. tapping our shoulders, releasing. And as you come back, hold on to that arm, breathing in and out, finding space. And the opposite shoulder, release, holding that arm, breathing in and out, finding a little extra space. And now you're going to find your back, tap, tap, release. And as you come back, find a little bit of a foundation with your arm and releasing over to the opposite side. Breathing in and out. Straightening up. Slowly. Tapping your opposite side. Release. Finding a foundation as you come down and releasing the body over. Breathing in and out. Rolling up slowly. And finally, tap, tap on your lower back. And you can use your hands for a little bit of foundation as you release forward, or if you're comfortable, you can release completely. And rolling up ever so slowly, letting the head be the last thing to come up.
Wasn't that phenomenal? Did you feel yourself touching these parts of your body that are in pain and releasing and letting it go? That's what this is all about. Oftentimes we move through life not even aware of how much pain we're in, of how often and how long we sit and don't even move. And in those areas that are crunched and cramped, we have years in history upon history of pain and discomfort, in some cases, even disease. But we get to release that. We can tap it and let it go. And I'm glad that we had a chance to experience that together today. Now I'm going to walk you through a simple process where you can think back to a time where you were creative and free, playing with art, using your hands, and then you can imagine and reimagine a time and space where you'll be able to bring art into your life, into your workplace, and be more creative on a daily basis. Think back to when you were a child. Picture yourself sitting and making art. What did that feel like? Drop one word in the chat. What was it like to be free? Drop that word in the chat. Now, reimagine yourself creating art as an adult in a work setting. What is it like to bring your creative self to work? What would it look like to practice and pursue health with more art around? What artistic elements would you add and where? I'd like to welcome collage artist and public health expert Krista David to share about the restorative power of collage art.
Hello, everyone. My name is Krista David. This is my puppy, Booker St. James. I am a visual artist and public health researcher living and working in between New York City and Atlanta, Georgia. I primarily use the mediums of collage and painting to tell stories, to dream, to vision, to create worlds that are supportive to the lives and well-being of Black and Brown people specifically. Collage is, simply put, a technique that is used in art production, used in the visual arts, and it's basically taking source material from a variety of sources, publications, newspapers, old photos, contemporary things, archival things, historical things, taking imagery from a variety of sources and assembling it into a new image. That is what collage is. It's cutting and pasting. And it's one of my favorite mediums to work in because it's so accessible. It's so accessible to anyone of any age. And it allows us to tap into the dream space, in my opinion, right? You can take these images and you can dream up a whole new world for the people in the images, the words, the scenes, etc. So that is what collage is in brief. Now, the fun thing about collage is anything goes. You can use any kind of material in collage. It does not necessarily have to be paper. It can be paper, it can be fabric, it can be cardboard from the side of the road. You can use any kind of material to create, to assemble a new picture, a new story, right? As part of this work that we're doing in this collective visioning series, one of the questions that I've been pondering about is what would a society look like that is set up to care for all of us, that is set up to care for the most vulnerable, the ones that have been made the most vulnerable? What does that look like? What is needed in order for people like me who are in bodies like mine need in order to thrive and to live? And sort of that's what I'm inviting you to do using the medium of collage. What would society look like if it was racially just, socially just, where everyone, no matter what they look like, what their constitution was, where they were born, their zip code, the amount of money they have, what would it look like for us to live in a city, a community, a world where everybody gets to thrive? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna gather our thoughts. So one of the ways that you can approach creating a collage, thinking about what I just mentioned, is to spend some time, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just journaling, just writing out what would it look like for me as a public health practitioner, as a person who has signed up for service. What would it look like? Who would I have to be? What would I have to do in order to create this world where everyone gets to thrive? Who are the people that I want to thrive? What does everyone look like to me? I want you to spend some time journaling that, because that's very, very helpful when it comes to, it's helpful in my own art practice. So I'm just offering that to you. Spend a few minutes just writing that out. And you may find that in your writing that you are most passionate about what society needs to be, how it needs to be oriented, situated to support, say, mothers and babies. You may be very concerned and passionate about folks who are impacted by the criminal justice system. You may be passionate and just find in your journaling that you are deeply concerned about food security. So just spend some time thinking about that, and it'll hopefully trigger some images that could be useful in the collage that you're going to make as part of this, right? So step one, just spend some time thinking about your role as a public health practitioner, public health professional, someone who is concerned about justice. Spend some time writing. Once you're done writing, read it over and just digest it and be with it. And then after that, I want you to gather up all your supplies for collage making. And you don't need much, and you probably have everything you need right in your home. So what do you need? You only really need three things, right? You need a surface to put your actual image on. So you can use a piece of cardstock, right? If you have it, it can be this color, it can be white, it could be anything. Or if you just have some regular printer paper, that can be a surface. You just need one sheet. So you can use that. So you need a surface. Two, actually, I think you need four things. I'm so sorry. You probably need four things. Just follow along. So we have the surface. You're going to need some elements to cut. So these are just clippings from different magazines that I pulled, things that are really interesting to me, like the brain. You may clip things that have nice patterns on it that you want to use. You may clip things that have faces of people that you want to include in your collage. But just go through a magazine, a newspaper, and just rip out whatever is catching your eye, and that is sort of pulling from that journal entry that you just made, right? So you need some things to cut. You also need something to cut those things with. These are my favorite scissors, but use whatever scissors you have. But these are mine because I have small hands. So you need scissors. And then lastly, and this is the fourth thing, the most important thing, you need some paste. So this is just a glue stick. This is my favorite glue stick. So that's all you need in order to get started with collage. It really is that simple. Glue, scissors, some things to cut up, and something to paste it on, right? Now, as far as the technique of collage, I don't want you to get caught up in that. You can't mess this up, right? So there are a couple different techniques that you can use when working on your collage. You could simply take something and rip it. You don't even need to cut. You can just decide, oh, I want this white pattern here, and I just want to rip it. So then it gives you this ripped edge, right? Or you can decide that you actually want to cut out the thing, right? You don't want to rip it, but you want to actually isolate the image. So that's what I'm doing now. This is where you literally cut around the image and you're not ripping it. The edge will be nice and clean. And then you end up with a nice isolated image, right? So there are two ways you can do this. You can rip or you can isolate. And either is fine. You're just going to get two different textures. And then after you've done that, what I encourage you to do before you paste anything down is just to orient your things on your page, right? You don't need to paste anything down now, but cut everything out, rip everything, and then start to sort of set up what your collage is, or compose it, I should say. And once you're settled on like how something looks, how it feels, I want you, before you glue anything down, just go back to your journal entry and say to yourself, yes, I've captured the essence of some of the things that I spent time thinking about. I've captured the essence of what kind of society I want to be a part in creating so that everyone gets to thrive. So I hope that this offering was helpful. I hope that you do the exercise, and I hope some things open up for you. And yeah, happy cutting, happy pasting.
That was lovely. So beautiful. And I'm so glad we got a chance to just think about and hear about art. Finally, I'm excited to share the reflections of the guests who were with us in person on May 31st.
I would say for me, I was able to join for the first exercise where, the prompt was to kind of think of what do you feel in different parts of your body, and how does that land on you, right? How does that affect you? And that was just a good moment of awareness, because I feel like we go through the day, we go through life, and we don't think about those connections. We may feel it, maybe not even recognize it, but actually taking a moment to slow down and think about that was just really helpful.
Like many of you, I spent most of my day sitting down at a computer trying to do my work. And as I was experiencing today, the meditation, all these things that I know are good for me and that put me in this joy space, I realized that I don't do them enough. And I have to figure out a way to set myself up to continue these experiences, like take time to meditate, take time to move, especially, and to do it with this sort of deep meditative music. So I'm thinking of ways of how do I remind myself? Do I need to plug it into my phone to be like, you need to take a break now? Do you need to go cut something? You need to listen to some music? Because quite honestly, the work, and we're all sort of doing this equity sort of work for the liberation of people who are most oppressed. It's hard and it's a lot. And I just, even now, I'm like, Krista, you got to do better with taking care of yourself as you go about doing this work. Because if you're not okay, the output is not going to be the best, right? You need to be in your joy space in order to give the best to your work and to these communities, your community that you're trying to support and be there for. So it was a needed reminder, because you can get so worn out with this work and burnt out.
So when I first heard collage, I was like, ooh, we are a collage. Our bodies are a collage, a historical collage of experiences. And so I'm hoping that we kind of connected in that way. But it was, I think from the moment the flute started playing, it was kind of like the door opened to possibility. So it was great to offer this to other folks, but I feel like I myself needed to do this in a selfish way, in a similar way, because we are, we go through the day and we kind of trap these moments, and we'll read the newspaper, or we'll see it on the screen, or we'll see it in our Twitter feed, and it's like we hold it all. And I appreciate this moment of tactileness, which I don't usually do, but I see a future me sitting around the table with my kids, gently prodding them to go through it. Because you could do it and talk. I could absolutely see that. So thank you for creating this space. Thank you for helping to plan it. Thank you for attending. Thank you for joining with the movement. Just thank you for recording it. Just a perpetual gratefulness right here.
I love that. One of the biggest things for me is everything required me to be present. If there wasn't focus on the outcome, like after this meditation, you should be able to A, B, and C, or even movement. It was, using these things that we might do every day and not know it, just to show how all of us are dancers. All of us are moving from A to B and doing it in our own personal way. And even the collage, it's not gonna get graded after, it doesn't have to be perfect. It gets to just be present. And it makes me think about what are some things that I might be holding on to that's not in the present, but it's still affecting me because of I'm still holding on to it in a certain way. Is there room for me to choose from the present moment versus choosing based on what has happened or what I want to happen, and just be present in where I'm at right now? And how that gives other people access to be present with me, because I'm not being in reaction to anything other than what's coming up for me in this moment. So yeah, I love that. So thank you for that, because I'm an outcome girl. I love results, and it's perfect, it's this and that. So it feels good to not have to be masterful in order to practice.
Hi everyone, so I definitely want to piggyback on what you said and what all of you said. It all just comes together. To make this work, talking about mental health and what we do in every single day lives. I think doing the collage was definitely really meaningful for me, mainly because do the work. We come in come in, clock in at 9, do what we gotta do, then clock out at 5, go back home, then come back the next day, clock in, do what we gotta do, then clock out. So at some point, you're just like, it becomes redundant, you get burned out, you're just like, why am I here? But then like the collage, it was definitely a really humbling reminder of the fact that like we're all pieces in a puzzle and we're all part of a really well-oiled machine. And if we do what we're expected to do, it all comes together and it's all part of the bigger picture of a meaningful cause, uplifting communities and making people happy. So that's what touched me inside and gave me a strong reminder that no matter what you do, just remember that it's gonna pay off in the long run and that it's all gonna come together. So I do want to thank the organizers again for making this work and for granting me the chance to take advantage of this beautiful reminder.
Anyone else want to share? Sure.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel operating on a different vibration. It's that was really so much felt here in this space, and the creation of that. And I think once you have that connection to be able to operate on that different vibration, anything is possible. And we get so easily distracted or disconnected because of all the impulses that are coming at us and it's out there. So, and I have that too, so I felt connected, right? And you have to be intentional, and this was so intentional. And wow, this spreads in a movement and much bigger. Imagine what can happen with the whole generation. So I'm very hopeful and grateful and looking forward. So thank you. Thank you to all.
So I'd said 5 words to describe a vision for New York City, a city that's more free, fair, loving, caring, and giving, and how would work be different. I would want a world where there are more diverse voices and different individuals can be heard and seen. How would home be different? Similar to what was just read, more open spaces and spaces to gather. And how would play be different? More of an opportunity for creativity and openness. And I would know we made a difference when I can feel comfortable and safe in this city. And what's your why? A better future for families. And what do we risk if we do not change? We risk, I said, a darker future for ourselves and for future generations.
Please take a moment to complete the Collective Visioning post-event survey.
Thank you for joining us. I'm so glad you were with us today. This has been Reimagining Public Health in New York City Collective Visioning Virtual Workshop. Stay tuned for how you can enjoy more from the New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. Thank you so much. I'm Takesha White from Rethink Everything. Tuned and enjoy the closing concert and dance performances from the Go Organic Orchestra led by Alexis Marcello and movement by Monica Ortiz-Rossi, Kiyomi Tarver, Marguerite Hamden, Jasmine Dugal, and costume by Rita Meister.
Somebody saw me here.
today's event, man, if you weren't here, you really missed out. This was the bomb, like the kids say. The music was amazing. It was eclectic, and it was jumping, because in the end, all I could say is one word: Wepa! It was kicking up.